you. I'd like to thank you all for being here and sharing this moment with us. For the record, this is officially Steel Hearts Rusted Souls Season 1, Episode 2. Nothing more than a fox, like 100,000 other foxes. Chin's city's domain, dying for the day. So as we quick round of rouse rolls, see whether we'll proceed in reverse alphabetical order as to what our first few.
Well, always a good start to a session.
Beast knows what it's going to get if it tries to get hungrier and just lets me have my rouse checks at this point.
Oh, yeah. We all have our hobbies. Familiar to you, reminding yourself of the evening's enjoyment. Your beast, much like you, is a little bit oversatiated, a little bit overstimulated. It has spent the evening being driven to excess. It's been spent the evening being given vent. Feeding from one person is divine. Having the opportunity of feeding at leisure over several moments because of the offering of the very real pleasure inherent is another matter entirely. It's akin to overstuffing oneself with sweets. So rising for the evening, resurrecting for the night, what is immediately on Mason's mind?
That he just spent the night at one of Silk's places, and also apparently we're about to have a conversation.
That very real thought does settle in, and what sort of talk could you potentially have outside of making the proper arrangements? Now, without belaboring how the blood game is geared to weed and wean out those who don't have the financial backing of most, those who have not found a way to turn being dead into a profitable exercise.
I've turned being dead very profitable.
Tend to not. In Mason's case, money is of no option, and that does not worry him, especially considering that the average bargain basement low range quality blood is typically about $1,500 per cc, i.e. one bag is anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000, and one person, well, depending on how much you sip and sup, is equal to that plus. So, are there any evening oblations that he would do in a place that is not his own?
Well, first he'd go out to his car and get his spare outfit. One of many spare outfits he has in the trunk of his car. Because you should never be in the same outfit twice.
Okay. So rising and retracing the steps taken by him and Silk as dawn threatened, we still kind of just go ahead and roll your intelligence and etiquette.
Yeah. I don't have that much etiquette for a Toyota. And my hunger is now 1, right?
Correct. Well, when being served a fine meal, leaving your wallet in the car typically results in, at the very minimum, a certain level of wariness. While no one in a very classy or poignant joint would directly call you out for attempting to dine and dash, leaving the premises without securing the actual payment would most assuredly raise some eyebrows.
Oh. Well, I guess first I wouldn't go out to my car. That wouldn't, but it said so I wouldn't take it.
So as you retrace your steps and are standing on the second level, the second story of the place, you realize that Silk, dressed in a working attire. It is a bodysuit, a coverall of sorts. It hugs her hips and provides a feminine cut, but is most assuredly something that you had not expected someone like her to wear. And she's sitting in a booth on the first floor, almost directly across from the small but strangely eye-catching bar. One leg crossed over the other, absently sending a text on her phone, the glow of it highlighting her high cheekbones and slightly over the large eyes.
I approach Silk, not cautiously, like just saying hi.
Mason, you're awake. Excellent. That is good to see. And I take it from how tense our hostesses were that you more than enjoyed yourself. And as crass as it is, I believe that we should settle our payments before much of the evening whiles away.
Sorry, what? So, he kind of faded out.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can turn up my independent volume. Does that work at all?
Yeah, I guess so.
She mentions the need to settle payment and motions at the seat directly across from her.
Okay, I take the seat.
Mason, I did say that we would offer a friends and family discount, as it were. And we'd also trade a bit of information back and forth. So as we begin to tally things together, is there anything you would like to share with me initially?
Well, as you probably know, I'm in an alliance with 4 other vampires. I mean, kindred. Sorry.
No, I understand. It is not the most tasteful of words, but it is most assuredly better than the L. That news as to your coterie had not exactly come to light. I suspected as much, but I didn't see with our initial meeting the 2 other kindred you're speaking of. Are they the same kindred that were at Evelyn's?
Possibly.
I see. Well, I'm sure you are aware that after our last meeting that I have certain affiliations, and these affiliations are, well, for the betterment of our society. Do you have anything that would make you immediately averse to that? Have you considered going farther afield that independent freedom should allow?
Sorry, what?
You are still a good, upstanding member of the tower, correct?
Possibly. Yes. Yes.
Excellent. Well, that settles a few of the niggling questions that were floating in the ether. Your friend, your associate, Dr. Joe Bishop, is he much the same, a good upstanding member of the tower, or is his affiliations more specifically aligned with those of the sword?
I cannot speak for my allies, for I don't ask such inconvenient questions, I shall put it.
Inconvenient. Interesting choice of words. So, just so that I make sure that I have things settled in terms of my understanding of things, in your associations, you would willingly associate with some member of a different sect?
Well, I mean, if we get the job done that we need to get done, does it really matter which side we are on? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
No, that is not the way that works. I'm glad that you are so egalitarian in your ideals and allowing personal drives and potentially less than scrupulous understandings of things to not factor into your judgment of people. However, in a situation such as this, with the city falling down around our ears, with the leadership missing, it is penultimately important that we have an understanding as to whom as whom? And as she sits back, leaning further away from the table, she finally places her phone out of sight, slipping it into her pocket. So, associating with members of the Sword of Cain or the rabble who have broken ranks with our vaunted, very noble sect does not bother you.
Well, I mean, isn't it basically just I don't know how to say this. If I don't know what sect they are, and ignorance is bliss.
I see.
So if you, I'm just gonna plead the fifth.
Well, in that case, and as she says, in that case, leaning slightly forward to make sure that she catches your eye, we switch gazes to Marcus. Arising for the evening, your beast grumbling no more, no less than its usual, nipping around the edges, seeking actual satiation, actual pleasure. What are your evening's ablations after yesterday's tumultuous few moments? The hectic rush across the mucky mire, the crashed Lincoln, the interactions with Cone, the redesign and different mock-ups requested by Silk. Where does that leave Marcus's eye snap open for the evening?
So Marcus comes out of his reverie under the giant paper press, drags his happy ass out the panel, looks around. Diedrich knows not to be here for the next few weeks, so I do have to go grab the wood. Hopefully it's waiting outside, and send him his money. Unfortunately, between the doc and the Karate Kid, my blood supply has been wiped out, so I'm going to have to make a few phone calls today to get that situated. Josh, I'm assuming, is going to be busy because he's been away from the house most of the day, so he's probably going to start his night off getting shit squared away. So I'm going to let him go to that before I start harassing him about it. So I drag the wood in, and I stumble through most of my relatively clean clothes and strip off the t-shirt and jeans from the previous day, put on a new pair of jeans and my new t-shirt. Today I'm staying away from making fun of fangs and making fun of engineers instead. So, I have a plan. I shoot off a text to Cone saying that I'm ready to press the pages, and I'm setting up the equipment for that today. But Ben and Mamela are still upstairs, so I'm going to let them come down at their own speed, but I'm going to get everything rolling on the ground floor because, daddy gotta eat. So I check my emails and my orders, get some things started up, shoot off some messages to my contact at I-80 Auto Parts and see if he's got an old Lincoln buried somewhere in his rather large fucked up car pile, because we're going to probably need more parts for that. And I add that maybe some VW parts might be needed soon, so I throw that in there too, because we're not having a lot of luck with cars among the five of us right now. Other than that, my mornings are pretty much set into checking the Bitcoin servers in one of the offices, double checking all the farmers market stuff on Etsy and LinkedIn and Thingiverse, make sure everything's rolling, and then I'm going to start attacking the book build. Just trying to get more details together. He gave me some more materials he's planning on bringing, so I'm working out how I can work with that to make things come together. But I really need to get his take on the paper and the size so I can get actually rolling. And then once I'm done with that, I start spitting out copper, thin wire copper, for the box build. and I'm assuming Silk will be getting back to me on her further thoughts. But I feel fairly comfortable I can get started on the basic build, the actual box part, not any of the decorations, without any more input from her. I cast one languid eye over the beat up car, and remember that Joshua's car is also going to need help, so Ben's going to be busy the next couple of days, so I make sure that I'm keeping that flowing in the back of my head. So if she needs parts rapidly, I can use some of my black market contacts to try to find something. But yeah, basically he's just going to, Marcus is just going to be wandering around doing his thing downstairs, waiting for Ben and Mamela to come down from upstairs.
Okay.
And he tries really hard not to make fun of his beast, because one does not poke the badger if the badger's sleeping.
Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll?
No. I've had my one good roll of the day.
Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll charisma plus?
Oh, God.
Charisma plus technology.
That's an odd mix. Yeah, the technology is going to be doing a lot of this heavy lifting.
Reaching out through your various means, making contacts, sending texts, sending emails, arranging calls to find potential materials, nets you with the result of what the fuck are you talking about at Lincoln? That's no computer I've ever heard of. Ha ha.
Ha 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 ha. Keep laughing, funny boy. A Lincoln Continental, 66.
The following list of expletives that you receive is enough to have a sailor who's actually managed to hit all 7 C's blush. The actual 66 had predominantly hand manufactured parts in regards to its interior as well as the connective exterior. So finding a part would still require additional tooling, hence the reason why most people only cherish it, because it's typically, even off the line, fairly one of a kind.
Son of a bitch. We're going to be working on this car for a month of Sundays.
There's also the part that is a little bit curious, because after the severe level of guilting for even bothering to have to try to look for a part for such a extremely rare model, there's an address that you are provided, which is a P.O. box in Indiana. It's in your state. It is not too far, luckily. Not like you have to go across several different state lines. However, it's a P.O. box. It's not an email address. The accompanying message is supposedly there's a collector of these cars at this address. If anyone would have additional parts, it would be the person who owns this P.O. box.
Oh, man. Fucking Luddite.
The worst thing for you is not only just the lack of the email or the lack of the phone number, it's that it makes no sense that there would only be one name. And you're sure that it's a joke or maybe just a nickname, but the very fact that the name attached to the address is L-I-N-C. No, you can't tell whether that's the last name or the first name, or a joke on the fact that it's a Lincoln Continental.
Oh, I think I found somebody more obsessed, who's going to be more obsessed about this car than Ben is. Holy crap. Okay, so I have my contact just look for whatever he's got in his lot, and then I dust off the only printer in the place that can actually print out a letter and whip out a quick missive. Hey, I've got a Lincoln Continental that recently had some body damage, front end, a little bit on the rear end. and it's a little tweaked, and I'm looking for parts to get it back to condition. And then I fold up the letter, I put in a little envelope, swearing at using the word Luddite the way other people use fucking fucktard for the next half hour as I seal it up, put a stamp on it, grudgingly drag my happy ass out to my own letterbox, flip up the little fucking flag, and put the letter in there, still swearing about Luddites and people who can't, program their VCRs, and trudge my way back into the factory, see if anybody's awake yet.
As you are walking back in, Mamela, there is something fundamentally disastrous awakening a place that you have only been once before. You've only slept over before, and it's becoming a habit. That habit sets all of the very real paranoia that sits in your chest on edge. Luckily for you, your blade is in your hand, and resurrecting for the night is a bit eased by that fact.
Quickly scan the area to see if anyone's in the room before I actually stand up. Just kind of like one eye. Scan the room to see if anyone's there.
No, but you hear a bunch of movement not too far away. While secure and quite warm during the winter, the farmer's market isn't exactly soundproof.
That ain't good. Stealthily sneak out of the room, scanning the area, see if anyone's in here that doesn't belong.
The only thing that doesn't belong in this particular moment is the threatening call of your beast. You have sampled not quite forbidden fruit, but needed fruit. It didn't quite scratch the emotional itch that remains when feeding. There's a stylistic component, a emotional component to feeding that the rushed feeding of the delivery driver did not quite satiate. So while you had enough, you could never have enough. And you can never have enough, specifically if it doesn't quite scratch that itch. It did the job. It kept you undead. Is a clear, tittering laugh of your beast as it demands more, demands that which it craves. It asks for a nice, hearty steak, and you fed it a hamburger, and it is not allowing you peace because of that.
Sent a text to old girl, hey, what you doing tonight?
As you're standing on the upper level of the farmer's market, looking out onto the floor, as you text, you see Mark enter back in not quite a huff, but it's clear that he was doing something he'd rather not be doing.
Call down. Hey, you alright? Hey, Marcus, you doing okay? Head down to see what he's doing. Why is he in a huff? To see if there's anything I can help with.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick comparison. Marcus, what is your total dots of wits and awareness?
Me, wits, and awareness?
Yes.
Wits 3, awareness 1, 4.
And Mamela, what's your total dots of dexterity and stealth?
Oh, this is going to be embarrassing.
I totaled out 8.
Okay, so even without trying, there's literally, Marcus, you were busy, you got the letter off, you walk back in, and then suddenly Mamela is standing over you as if he is the specter of death himself.
And I freak out. I'm like, God damn it, Ninja Boy! Don't do that!
I called twice. You didn't answer. What do you want?
Wear a bell. No, I'm distracted. I have to deal with this guy to get some parts for your car, but he doesn't have an email, he doesn't have a phone number, he just has a P.O. box somewhere in Indiana. So I had to write a letter, I had to find a stamp. You know, last time I had to find a stamp, I never need a fucking stamp. 21st fucking century. Somebody doesn't have a goddamn email address.
Email?
Email. He doesn't have email. He doesn't have physical address. He has a P.O. box.
Sounds like a vampire. You might want to watch yourself.
Well, dude needs to buy a cell phone, goddammit.
Maybe he does.
Well, he needs to post it and make it public so I don't have to figure out how to write a letter. I haven't done that in 6 years.
There's something about calligraphy. There's something about calligraphy that is actually more personal than, writing a letter in your box thing.
You know what? There was something about bleaching 700 years ago, but we got over it.
Maybe.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I may have come across someplace where we can get some custom parts for your car to make it pretty again. So Ben won't yell at us, mainly you.
I appreciate that. More than likely me, actually. More than likely me. But I do appreciate it.
So, yeah. I'm just working down here waiting for you guys to wake up and get your shit together. But whatever you need to do, free. You can borrow the love bug if you need it. Your car, not exactly drivable right now. It really pulls to the right when you try to use the brakes. It only pulls a little to the right when you don't try to use the brakes. So it's limited to about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, I do appreciate the offer, but I think I'll just get an Uber.
Coward.
Just saying. I think I'll just get an Uber. Hey, I'm heading to go take care of something. If you need me, I don't know, send a car because there's no way for me to get back. But let me know if you guys meet.
Oh, I grabbed your phone out of the wreck. It's over here, and I hand him back his phone.
Actually, he picked up his phone from the Lincoln last night when he snuck down for his dagger, which is another thing that you find a little bit spooky about him, how he was able or needed to have such implements on him.
True, but he is a ninja boy, so I don't ask any questions. Just remember, if you use that app that I installed that tracks us, it also backtracks to you. So if you try to ping one of us, it'll tell you where we are, but it'll also tell us where you are at the same time. So next time you're going to be kidnapped, ping us so we don't have to count on me accidentally noticing that your car is smoking on a bridge somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid the whole kidnapping thing for a while. I really did that just to see who was out to get us and get a level of power that they had. We already know that. So, yeah, the whole kidnapping thing.
You're over that?
It's going to probably put some bodies. Yeah, I'm totally over that.
Okay. Well, I figured that the only reason there weren't 2 or 3 dead bodies lying around your car is the fact that you let yourself be taken.
Yeah, I had to see what their troop strength was, because if it was 3 and under, we could deal with it. 5 and up to 10, maybe pick off a few. They have 20 people all willing to burn this, all in the city, so we need to watch our backs. But I'm heading to the dojo and other places. He looks at his phone. If you need me, let me know. I'll be back. I'll be there as soon as I can.
Okay.
As you say, I'll be there as soon as I can. Switching gears, Ben, there is nothing so mildly enervating outside of waking up in a new place, except for waking up in a new place with a new face. Luckily, there's no one in bed in the cot with you, but you are, in fact, once again, having crashed at the farmer's market. This is becoming a habit.
Kind of rubbing my head a little bit and looking around, just kind of figuring out what all's going on, because I can vaguely hear voices. Getting out of bed, kind of peeking around the corner, Y'all make a lot of noise when you first wake up, huh?
That was all me. That was my fault, Ben. I apologize.
Some of us have to
Heading
work.
out. And do you have an extra vehicle I can borrow just for until my car's fixed?
I think there's that old Toyota in the back. I mean, it's a little mangy, but it'll run.
Okay. Sure.
Ben says.
I'm not giving you my truck.
Ben says, "Mangy, would you be so kind as to roll your unspent willpower?" Mamela.
You know what? Don't worry about
It is
Ben. I think I'll just wait.
There is a immediate aversion to the very idea of being around anything mangy. There's an immediate aversion and a fear as to what that will do to your psyche. The farmer's market itself requires a small stealing of your woosah moment because of who and what you are, and you're sure that's partially the reason why Mason and you not only get along, but also have a immediate moment of having to focus yourself to comport yourselves properly.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to grab an Uber. Never mind. It's good. I call it Uber and wait until they get there.
Well, you say that you're going to grab an Uber, but the truth of the matter is, unfortunately for you, and fortunate for you, you don't really have Uber in your phone. You only have Uber luxury. So while most people may be able to toss off, a quick ride for down and around $20, it takes about a minimum of 30 minutes for your Uber to arrive because you don't have a normal Uber. You have Uber Black. You only drive or are picked up in extremely luxurious vehicles. The sedan of sedans. The driver dressed in a two-piece livery. You don't do just rides. There's a small bit of yourself that you try not to show too often because, well, it does make you seem pretentious amongst the others of the city. However, there's a certain level of things that are just palatable.
Fair enough, I can see that. While I'm waiting, I send a text to good old Marcus to see if he actually has a spare car that would be drivable.
Mason. You can go ahead and compose that text in either in the coterie chat or in the open play. And while you're composing that chat, and Ben is watching the very real permutations of things flit across your face at the considerations of certain things. What are Ben's evening oblations, considering everything that she is aware of that is taking place in this city at this moment? Everything that is taking place on the horizon as forces and shadows draw at the edges.
I definitely need to get back to the garage to change clothes, obviously. Probably gonna grab my bike and take it to the dive so that I can talk to Evelyn about what we spoke about last night and see where they stand on this whole Vanguard coming into the city thing, so that I know what we're kind of expecting. Plus, of course, I've probably got customers waiting for things. Get a little bit of something to eat and take care of that. Yeah, so just kind of start my night out. But that is definitely something important for me to do, to go talk to Evelyn and get the Anarch side of this so that I know kind of where we stand and kind of give them a heads up that the tower is very much making moves in the city so that they might want to be aware and prepare themselves. That's pretty much it.
All right. So, with all of the other members of the coteries' evening oblations begun, and Ben and Marcus and Mamela having settled things, texts going back and forth with him and Mason, we turn our gaze towards Joshua. Now, the human body is very much your playground. The potential to make it run more efficient, the penchant for it to be used as a guide for several different lines of philosophical meditation on your. It's appealing. Animal bodies, not so much. It helps pays the bill and keeps your small staff employed and working during the day to better obfuscate your victims, your feeding pool, your prey, for lack of a better word, that use your services to mend their body while giving of their very precious and sweet blood. It also has allowed you entrance into certain corners of kindred society, namely the obtaining of blood via the circulatory system. So rising for the evening, knowing what took place just last night, from the attempt to Shanghai you away to the fact that Rascal is in fact a rascal. What are Joshua's evening oblations?
Joshua's first act probably to grab his throat, feeling thirstier than he's ever been in his entire life. Even being totally dehydrated from bad flu wasn't this bad. He needs blood, he needs it now. Scramble over to his books of patient list and find someone he hasn't seen in a while. Maybe they need some help, some methadone to get off the heroin, or may have broken bone that's healed improperly, needs re-breaking and casting or splinting, anything to get some blood.
Okay, well, that being the case, you have a choice ahead of you. You have a decision, you, the player, not Joshua. We're going to take a quick second to dive into the underpinnings of who Joshua is. Would he give himself over to his hunger, or would he attempt to fight it?
He's not gonna fight it. He has his air of professionalism to keep up. He can't just feed off someone.
Okay, very, 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 very good indeed. Would you be so kind to roll 1/3 your humanity and your unspent willpower? The scent of blood in and of itself is intoxicating for kindred. It is the clarion call of all that they ever could be. That absorption of life, the very real drinking down of another's life. It is a nearly irresistible song that dances through them at all times. Somehow, even with a fairly active beginning to his evening. Seems as if some gentleman tried to rob a check cashier's van that was driving through Gary. In the resulting exchange of fire, he was shot and wounded. His associates, his gang, dragging him away from the scene. The fact that when Joshua emerges from his hidey hole, from his actual inner sanctum, the scent of blood smacks him in the nose like a featherweight boxer trained to make sure that that jab is nice and snappy and hits with just enough force to turn the person's head, and it hits Joshua full force. And it takes him a second to struggle and strain down that grumbling growl of his beast, but he manages to do so. He manages to wrestle it very much like he has wrestled large breed dogs, or in fact, Rascal, just a few hours earlier, keeping his beast from ripping from him and showing its monstrousness to those gathered. Due to his sense of professionalism, Joshua hovers over the bullet wound. There's no way with them being unsuccessful in robbing the truck could they actually pay you for these services, at least not with cash. In blood, however, is another matter entirely.
How grievous are his wounds? Can I take much blood without starting to kill him?
Yeah, it was in and out, and luckily your staff is fairly competent. They're accustomed to these, and they made sure that he was properly appointed. Small bit of a transfusion to keep him from losing too much blood. He was stabilized as best as possible, but the actual work, the actual doings of helping him heal is on you. Repairing of the damage is on you. And alone in your operating room, alone in your theater with this gentleman, what is it Josh would pursue?
First step, make sure gloves on, sterile, and then go to sterilizing the wounds. Then,
so you said about treating him, and you know that he can't pay financially. How are you going to obtain payment for your services?
after I get him all stitched up, made sure he's nice and comfortable on the operating table, and then give him the next 30 minutes or so and go on his way after, making sure to look into his eyes. He says that.
So are you using any of the blessings of your vampiric blood to either cause his mind to slip? He's going to inform him whereas to his poverty, and that the only...
I'm going to use flat memory. It's easier.
Okay.
It's no resistance. Chocolate always goes to Patley's resistance.
A few moments later, you find yourself partaking of the most delicious of panicked, fearful, adrenaline-soaked blood that you have in a very long time. Most career criminals, getting shot at or committing a crime is just like for most going to their 9 to 5. And after a while, it all kind of blends together. You long for those days where something excites you, something gets you going, and crime just doesn't do it. However, other risky behaviors do. But this gentleman is clearly a novice criminal, clearly just beginning down that path, and he is quite afraid. He is quite excited. His blood tastes like Rocky Road ice cream. It's sweet and delectable with nuts and marshmallows all throughout. It's a treat of the sort that you have not had in quite some time.
After I'm done with him, I'll get him up, body disoriented, and lead him out to the staff so they can lead him along to whatever gang members dragged him in here.
I'm done with him. I'll have another. Your beast mentions and whispers in your head.
Joshua closes his eyes
Now recording.
and orders it.
Of
Yes. And orders it. Might miss a drop in the pan for his hunger, but it'll not keep him going.
Yes, so now you are at 2 hunger. Are you attempting to head out into the evening to hunt, or are you attempting something else?
Let his mind clear. I want to go back to Rascal and get out my phone, dialing Johnson's number. Still never found out exactly the mystery of the Gould raccoon. Sounds like a tween mystery book, honestly.
Okay. As you dial Miss Johnson, she immediately answers as if she's been waiting by the phone, as if a family member is in a hospital. And for her, you're sure that's pretty much what it is. Oh, Doctor. Oh, Dr. Bishop, is everything okay? And as she asks, and the fear in her voice soaks the line between you and her, we will hear approximately 10-minute break. I'll see you guys back here at 41 after the hour.
All right. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
We were talking shit about you the whole time.
Yep.
My dog.
Can't hear you.
Well, it's okay to talk about nobody, I suppose. So, in the spirit of us having received a truncated time due to my technical difficulties, as well as Craig acting being a horrible friend to start the evening, before diving back into the scene, picking up from where we left off, I'd like to, over the course of the next couple of days, schedule moments to continue singular one-shots to add to our this week's episode when you guys are available and able. So between now and Sunday, schedule some time any day but Wednesday and next Friday for us to get some one-shots in, account for technical difficulties and Craig and all of that. But in the spirit of truncation, let's talk out where everyone was. We understand where everyone, if I'm not mistaken, we understand where everyone was, but more along the lines of reuniting the bands, as it were. So we're going to speed through non-problematic moments, i.e. grabbing a bite to eat, wrapping up business at Doc Bishop's, sending texts back and forth. All of those things we will simply say were 100% successful. Situations where our coterie were dealing with the other NPC kindred, not so much, because that will require a good deal of roleplay. The matter in front of Mason being the payment for services and extricating himself from that present situation. And situation lying ahead of Ben is the very real reaching out to the Anarch leaders of Gary. Simply because everyone is so spread far and wide and we are running short, a little bit short on time. Marcus, Joshua, and Mamela, to whom would you first seek to appear at their side? Conversations sent, moments had, text traded back and forth, to which either Evelyn or Silk would you seek to appear at?
That's where.
Joshua, go ahead. You go first.
I'm sorry. Can you go over why I'm going to appear in front of Silk or Evelyn again? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Which way would you lean? To ride to assist Mason or ride to assist Ben?
Both are good allies and friends. Who would I... Okay, I'll flip the coin. Go with Ben.
Okay. Amela?
Well, I've already talked to David, so yeah. I think I'll swing towards Evelyn.
And Marcus.
Did you say Marcus?
Yep.
I'm unfortunately being pulled in multiple directions. Marcus is not entirely sure what political lines these are. He's got to talk to Silk. He's got to talk to Cone. He's got to talk to Adam. And after that, he wants to talk to Ben. But if everybody's out of his factory shop, he's going to invite Cone over to work on the book.
Wait, I just realized I do actually have a question. When you were asking if there was any questions, I just realized because of about Cone, and the role of regent. So is he? So because it says he's regent in the Anarch and he's regent in the tower. I was wondering about that.
Regent is the highest ranking member of a chantry. It is the equivalent of specifically it's the equivalent of prince or baron specifically for the Tremere or other members of the chantry. It is the reigning de facto head. Yeah.
It's the head wizard in town. Marcus doesn't know that, but I know that.
Would I know that? Would Mason, know that?
Well, in regards to Mason's association, would he bother to associate with over the last several years, get wholly involved with the chantry?
Well, in his past, he would have been when he was with Marion, he would have been involved with the Camarilla, and then when he was out, when he finally escapes, whenever that Marion, whenever that is, he would be started to get involved with the Anarch movement. But very seldomly so in the Anarch movement, for he can still say, I'm a camo when he needs to. Just gathering information.
Okay.
Is what he would have done.
Okay. Well.
He's a writer after all.
Well, with those notes and information, it's easy enough understanding that the Regent is one of the most powerful Tremere in any particular area, one of the most powerful members of the Chantry in any particular area, and that area varies. There could be a Chantry of block A, or there could be a chantry of a city. There could be a chantry of a region. But yeah, he's a regent. He's significantly, powerfully, politically, and mystically. He's the person one would go to if there's any problems of that sort. It's like and it's often viewed as Mephistophelian in regards to making agreements with such people. And we're going to switch things up a bit with the bulk of the coterie having decided to ride in to assist Ben when putting herself at considerable potential risk by once again visiting the dive. We will pick up with Ben having arrived at the dive and secured a table where her and Evelyn can speak about certain things. I'm going to call you guys out, Josh and Mamela, as you all arrive, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, having made it home to the shop, making sure that everything is moving as smoothly and quickly as possible, parts being ordered, reaching out to various contacts, and then hopping on your bike because it is an unseasonably warm evening overall. Taking a quick drive down to the dive, part of Ben fears that what happened 2 nights ago would have shut the place down, which is not necessarily the greatest of things, but is also a very real possibility. That beating that Evelyn received is most assuredly something that would prohibit most people from daring to step over the line, daring to spit in the face of the Vanguard. However, as you arrive, you see the neons lit up, you see the parking lot filled, you hear the music blaring out, and you realize that it's business that rules the day. Having secured the table with Evelyn toward the near front of the dive, just off the beaten path of easily traversal space, Evelyn is sitting in her red leather jacket, her boots laced up, and instead of wearing the dress and skirt that she normally wears, she's wearing a pair of black camo pants. It is the urban digitized pattern.
That's a new look.
That's an old look out overall, honestly. I have a couple of things that I would like to do to accomplish tonight. What brings you out, Doc?
Well, unfortunately, with what happened the other night, I'm sure you know who's in town.
They've been in town for a while.
Yeah, but now they're getting aggressive about it. They kidnapped a friend of mine last night. He made it back all right, but there was definite flexing happening, and I'm letting you know that it sounds like they're ramping up, trying to draw lines in the sand and make people make choices.
Well, that's the nature of things, unfortunately. That's the part that sucks. You either gotta stand for something or fall for everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's part and parcel of what keeps the bulk of the city down. Most people didn't have to choose. With Juggler and Modius, you could say, yes, I'm part of the tower. And as long as you toed the line and didn't get out of pocket, there was no reason for you to ever really run across an anarch that would hold your feet to the fire. And you didn't have to choose. No one did. Because there was peace. And that was wrong. I thought that instead of focusing on attacking Chicago, instead of making examples on the kindred of Chicago, that we should have focused here. You remember what it was like when that virus was spreading through the city and people were walking down the street looking like zombies?
Yeah.
That was great. That was great. No one had to choose a side because we were all united. But now, without the city being on fire, no one's going to do the right thing.
I get where you're coming from. Trust me, I understand that. But I really feel like the city can't run unless it's balanced. One or the other needs to take control, and then the other needs to have some sort of presence so that nobody's alienated. Granted, there's going to be lines drawn in the sand one of the either ways, but both need a presence in the city to make anything work.
Yeah, how well did that work? We've lost in the last 5 years 20,000 jobs, U.S. Steel. You know what that's meant? More people doing criminal things, more carjackings. You know what the police have a stop and frisk policy in places like New York, New Jersey, and even Chicago in some places. You know what the police policy here is? Don't stop, don't frisk, for their own safety. If you stop at a stoplight or a stop sign too long, the immediate response of any police officer in the area is to suspect that you are up to no good for their own safety. How long are we going to keep living like animals? How long are we going to allow people's indifference to be the name of the day? Peace didn't get us anything. It just got us dead slower.
I suppose you're right. I just... maybe I'm just optimistic or
complacent.
Naive.
You wouldn't live as long as you have if you were naive. Come on, everybody knows you're a legend. You are one of the few who go back nearly as far as Modius, nearly as far as Juggler. But those days are over. We lost the battle with Chicago. We lost. And instead of trying to rebuild, everyone was worried about keeping the peace, keeping the status quo. And the only thing that got us, again, is just dying slower, dragging it out. If we have to, let it die so that we can have something to rebuild from. I don't want that to happen, but it's better than the alternative, this zombie state that we are living in. You know why I allowed those guys to make their presence known? Because if they had found Genghis here, if they had been given leash and leave, and if I bothered to fight back, they would have applied more pressure. They would have come and found all the many things that we are laying out for the future to take full control. So it's okay. I'll take a bloody lip. I'll take a busted eye. I'll take a couple of broken bones if need be. But what I am not going to take is the Walking Dead status that we had lived in. That does us no justice at all. That only hurts us in the long run. More jobs leaving. We can't do that any longer.
I get that. Okay, so if we can't have peace and balance, why not fall in line then? Ask me that.
Why not fall in line?
That would bring
for
peace.
the very same reason. For this very same reason we had peace. Modius was weak. He was focused on Chicago. He allowed Juggler to get too big to squash outright. He had to give Juggler the streets. He didn't have a choice. Because if he tried to take Juggler on, maybe one-on-one, but Juggler wasn't by himself. He had me. He has the others. He has the streets. So he had to keep the peace. I don't have a Modius. I'm not going to allow Sharp to become a Modius because he's not Modius. He actually wants the tower to win. He believes in the tower's mission.
Which is?
He wouldn't. To keep all of us good little kindred safe and sound so long as we follow the rules. To kiss someone's ring, to bend our knee and follow their rules, to give in to all of the intrinsic, systemically evil and horrid things of the last 1,000 years. That time is over. Mammalian, you're entering right about now.
Yeah.
So, Ben, I respect you. Like I said, you're a legend. Your bike shop, most of the guys that visit through here, most of the girls too, have come by your bike shop. They picked up parts from you. But I kind of gotta know, where do you stand? Are you asking because you convinced me to kiss somebody's ring? Are you here asking what the game plan is so that you can help us fight this war? Speaking of fighting, what's going on, Mr. Scary Man?
That's not something I've been called in a long time. Came to check on you. A. B. Hey, Ben, came to check on you. You need anything?
You come and check on us? We should have been checking on Ben's friend that got kidnapped last night by those fucking tower lackeys.
Oh, that was me. And
What?
that was intentional.
You intentionally let them kidnap you. Why?
Oh,
So he
yeah.
says, but I saw the car.
How else do you get intelligence if the opposition doesn't believe they have the upper hand?
By beating it out of them? What I heard was that you're the most skilled martial artist in the city.
I wouldn't say steady. I mean, that's being pretentious.
Yeah, well, either way, I'd just shoot you first. Hard to kick somebody when you're missing a knee.
Can't hit what you can't catch, but point taken. So, by the way, the Vanguard is pretty deep here, so you might want to watch your back. Just saying.
Oh no, we're gonna take care of that. Silk has a place on the east side of town. We're gonna be paying a couple of visits there. Nothing that's gonna fall back on me, but it's the reason why I'm making sure that we all get seen together. Well, specifically, I get seen out in public, because in about 25 minutes, that place is gonna go up like the 4th of July.
What do you mean it's going to go up like the 4th of July?
Gas leaks happen all the time. Look at what happened. Look what they did to the Abandoned King.
I see. Give me 1 second. Take out my phone. Send a text.
Actually, you don't. You take out your phone and you realize that there is, unfortunately, a level of interference that could only come from a manufactured forced silence.
Am I about to meet a fiery death?
Start walking outside the door.
Out of character, can I ask what status for Joshua right now?
Get a signal and realizing that you have not only no bars, but you don't have any connectivity. Normally, when you don't have any bars, you switch down to a lower cell signal. You switch off from 5G to 4G to standard cell.
Okay, when I step out and get to a point where I get signal, I send that text.
In the doorway.
Okay. Once I do, then I go back to where Ben is.
Joshua, you're walking in as Mamela is attempting to step out and look at his phone.
Oh. Hey, Mamela.
Hey Josh, give me 1 sec. Send in an important text.
While he's doing that, I just will walk down and sit at the table with Ben and Evelyn.
Dr. Bishop, no one's hurt so far. What brings you out of your hidey hole?
I think I've decided to choose my side. I met the tower personally. The same guys who you might have heard took Mamela, trying to do it to me. So they didn't do it diplomatically. I got a nice fist to the jaw, multiple broken ribs out of it. I don't appreciate the tower too much after that. I barely heard of them, but
Well, I can't say that I actually stand for them myself, especially after our last little go around. If Sharp was on our side, that would make all the difference in the world. Unfortunately, he's not. And from everything that I can find out, he's actually pretty skilled at his job. And our only hope is to take out as many of his underlings as possible so that he doesn't have the forces. And according to Amela, according to Ma over there, he's got like 20 additional folks, which is interesting because, well, getting that many people to believe in something is not an easy thing to do, as I'm sure you're aware. And having said that, we will switch our gaze. Mason, as you're looking down at your phone while Silk is attempting to have a conversation with you,
before I say anything, words. Why? I go, sorry, my friends are being obnoxious, but constantly texting me. And then I put my phone on serve and I set my steps.
I see. Well, I'm glad that your friends have an intrinsic value to you, enough that basic standards.
But anyways, they seem to be in trouble, though. So, in terms of payment, how much do I owe you? I did give you some information.
You did. You still didn't answer a question to my satisfaction, but you did give me some information, a lot to think about. One, that you are okay and willing to associate with Anarch and Sabbat. Two,
I'm not okay to work with the Sabbat.
Really? And your friend, your coded member, Dr. Bishop, a clear, known person who associates with the Anarchs, a clear, known person who just recently was spotted with a former member of the Sabbat from Dalton. It's the reason why I asked, to see how much you were willing to share with me. But your friend Dr. Bishop keeps strange friends. Most of them clearly not part of the tower. And according to Cassandra, is aware enough of his situation to avoid being brought in for questioning. What sort of person takes pains to hide where they are and associates with members of the Anarchs and members of the Sword of Cain?
Well, the only reason I would allow myself to work with the Anarchs is because, if you know history, they used to be a sub-faction of the Camarilla. So, and we use them still too, whenever we need them. Also, I do not work with the Sabbat.
You say that, but there's no proof that Dr. Bishop is not Sabbat. Have you seen...
There is no proof that he is Sabbat either.
Sure there is. What good upstanding member of the Camarilla, what good upstanding member of polite society would graft several different appendages to themselves in public? What other sect do you know that is comfortable and takes pride in their lack of humanity? There's nothing about Dr. Bishop that has not pointed that he is not part of the Camarilla. And just another sign of why someone should have moved Modius from his position sooner. From what I understand, up until recently, Juggler was considered just as much a leader of the city as Modius. Is this true?
I don't know.
Really? You expect me to believe that you, a long-standing member of the city, a decently respected member of our, did not bother to investigate the city around you, didn't bother to collect any information that could be of any use?
Well, information is information, but I have not done it. I had not done research on the Sabbath and Gary as of yet. I've only been here maybe half a year. Enough to get information on the tower and the Anarchs, and that's about it. I'm sorry. So, How much moolah do you need?
Well, considering that I see that that our conversation is troubling you. You seem in quite the hurry to depart. I am loath to...
Well, it sounds like my friends need help.
Really, what do they need help with?
They have not told me. They just said that they need help.
Where are they?
They said they text me the information once I'm unoccupied.
Well, text them back that you are currently unoccupied. I can ensure their safety far quicker than one singular kindred might. Find their address, and I will ensure that they're protected or removed from whatever stressful situation they're in.
I believe that they aren't in any danger. It's just they need my help with advice on what clothing to wear.
Well, have them gather a few ensembles and have them come here.
Why come here?
I don't believe that we're actually done with our conversation. 1. And 2, she sits a roughly fanny pack sized package from beneath the table. It is wrapped in a few bits of plastic and duct tape, and she sits it on the table. And beneath the roughly wrapped together plastic are several things that you hoped but you would never have the pleasure of seeing up close and personal. Someone clearly has access to the internet. The quickest thrown together incendiary device you've seen. They even bothered to attach a pager to it, of all things.
Pager? Wow. I haven't seen one of these since a long time.
Yes. And while my staff...
Not that long. Few of my friends. Pager,
Oh.
I guess.
And while my staff, in the course of their normal evening duties, found this, I've not had any issues or any problems with such things until I offered you hospitality.
So, are you trying to tell me that I need to spy for the Camarilla?
No, I wouldn't be so gauche.
Oh, and one other thing. I take out my phone again one last time and look up my messages because I remember someone. Do you like ivory?
Do I like ivory? I am not a fan of the poaching that is used to generate such things. But that is neither here nor there. I will not be distracted on this, Mr. McGinnis.
Oh, my last name. Wow. Isn't it fun to say? McGinnis. Okay, I'm trying to get...
I have not had any security issues until offering you hospitality. I've purposefully kept from interacting with the rabble in a specifically negative fashion with my own hands, my own efforts to avoid such things. I understand that the Anarchs and the Sabbat don't care for personal property. I understand that they don't adhere to the tradition of domain. However, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. My friends don't have a problem. They're just all spamming, texting me to leave and get to safety.
Really? So your friends knew of this device. Your friends knew of this. Means you knew of this, or at least were informed of this. So they used you to distract me because of some relational kinship.
I never told anybody I was coming here. I literally thought, okay, I want to pick up a snack. I Googled what clubs nearby, and I saw this one. How in the world would they have possibly known when I didn't say anything to them?
May I see your phone? Oh, she takes out her own and sits it on the table.
I take out my phone and set it on the table as well.
She slides hers to you. and slides yours to her. She lifts up your phone. Do you have a lock screen that you've had in place?
No, I don't have a lock because I don't have one in tech yet.
She doesn't have a lock screen either, but hers is because she, no one really gets her phone. That's where she gets.
Once I have a one in tech, I'll start messaging in the Minecraft area.
And she starts cycling through your messages, occasionally looking at your pictures, but mostly through your messages. And as she's cycling through your messages, we switch for the last and final switch for the evening. Mason, Marcus, you reach out to Cone via text. It's met with, it's been read, but there's no response. The initial text that he sent to you in regards to him gathering materials needed doesn't fill you with the warm and fuzzies. The very real fact that he meant human hair. He provided you with skin for the cover and stated that it must be used with bone. Him grabbing materials for the pages very much seems as if you will be finding a way to transmute human flesh into page-like substances to be written upon.
Basically, I get the idea that this is a customer in a snip.
Most assuredly.
God damn it. I'm gonna kick Karate Boy's ass. At this point, everybody's out of the factory. It's just me, and I'm wandering around. I'm like, I throw him a voice text as opposed to a standard text.
Mm-hmm.
It has my actual voice on it, and it starts with, Cone, I deeply apologize for my friend's animosity, but I am greatly intrigued and invested in the project you brought me, and I really want to move forward with it, but I really need the paper, basically, is what I'm saying. Is the way bookbinding works, the way books are made, is you build the inside and work to the outside. I have treated the skin, I've treated and I've prepped everything I can, but without the pages, I can't cut anything. And I really want to move forward. All of my friends are currently busy with other aspects of their lives. And I again invite you back into my space so we can move forward and actually build this and do this project.
Adding the personal touch to try to affect a less than negative stance and a more positive outcome in the moment. While you're sending the text, several things occur to you.
Shit.
One of them, you're alone. And it's one of the first nights in the last week that you've been alone, not even Diedrich present. So the machines aren't running at full speed. You don't have any full workloads in play. You don't have the sound of hand tools being used as Diedrich works in the back with some wooden project or some hand carved project. No, the market, for lack of a better word, is silence. It's never completely silent. You're always working on some project or moving about or being busy. Your builder's ADHD keeping you active and your hands busy. But in this, as you are standing and speaking into the phone, you are still. You're able to hear the silence of the market, or at least what should be the silence of the market, save the skittering, save the rustling of something. And you end your message looking around, and there's nothing or anyone here. There shouldn't be any real airflow because, the vents are high enough up so that they wouldn't blow anything out of the wrong place or cause any interference with your projects or any interference with the machines. So there's no excess breeze in the place that should be causing anything to move, let alone any skittering.
Like a rat-like skittering? Raccoons in the trash can kind of deal?
No raccoons inside the market. The doors are, too big for them to squeeze their head in. And if they can get their head in and get bodies in, yes. However, there aren't any real openings large enough for them to do that. However, there is a soft, small skittering in several places throughout the market. Unlike most, you're not confused or fooled by the way that sound bounces off the walls and the machinery.
Oh, it's all my machinery, so I know the sounds it's supposed to make, and these sounds are not good. They are not within the realm. Unfortunately, being able to hide myself or run really fast is not going to assist me. But I am going to take a moment after I send that voice text to Cone and try to hunt down that sound because it's bothering me.
Excellent. Would you be so kind as to roll wits plus survival?
No, I will not. Hold on. Oh, hey, I actually have points in that shit. Where the fuck are the dice? There they are.
You are a veritable bloodhound. You are seeking high, seeking low. You are moving as if you were born to this.
My ADHD is getting me moving, is what you're saying. I get it.
And as time peters away, as you follow the sound and track it down, you realize where it is coming from. You realize that along a few of the pipes, you trace the sounds back, and as whatever it is that's making those sounds flees from you, you catch sight of a mouse roughly the size of a tablet. And you know that it is not a rat.
It's got fur on it.
Yes, because of the tail, because of the ears, because of the shape of the body. This is an extraordinarily large mouse, but a mouse all the same. And if it was just the one, as you begin figuring out how to trap it, you would be fine. But there are several small, slightly glowing eyes as you track this one that disappear into a crevice here, duck under a machine there.
Okay. As soon as I pinpoint one mouse and I notice the cornucopia of eyeballs glowing redly at me, I push all that shit aside. I push blood into my body to activate my fleetness, and I go after the one mouse that I can catch. And I go full tilt boogie and try to catch the little bastard.
Okay. Contested physical die pool. You're using dexterity and brawl, which is
yes. And I am also, well, I don't have any brawl because I'm that guy, but I'm pushing blood into my dexterity.
okay.
So I'm pumping it and going after the little fucking mouse because he's driving me nuts because I'm in an important phone call. 1d4. Oh shit.
Well, now, as you catch it, it fights and scrabbles free the first time, but you apply more firm and direct pressure to it. You suffer a few scratches along the forearms and thumb and receive a nice little mouse bite right in the webbing between your thumb and your palm as its teeth land. In the doing of it, luckily for you, you had not blushed or risen the semblance of life, but all the same, instead of having that euphoric jolt that you've seen ghouls take when hitting the vitae, it instead has more of the same, and its demeanor doesn't change except for it continues to scrabble in an attempt to get free. You've never seen a mouse this size. This is a mouse of an extraordinarily large size. And no, not a capybara. No, not a weasel. Not a huge gerbil. No, this is a mouse. It's strong enough to be nearly wiggling free of your hands. And if not for the very small, dainty pink ribbon tied around his neck, you swore that it'd be something from some fantasy given life. But instead, there's actually a tag of sorts, a nice little pink ribbon tied around it, as if someone has kept it as a pet.
I curse in Klingon as it bites me. Little fucking ratty bastard. But I hold on to it as well as I can. I'm like, come here, you little fucking mousy bastard. And I'm endeavoring to keep it contained without hurting it. Those are my two goals. Don't let the mouse get away, the one with the pink ribbon. Don't crush it like an egg. So I'm deliberately not making myself stronger, but I'm definitely concentrating on dexterous movement. And wherever I drag it out of, whatever pipe because I left a lot of the old equipment in the factory, so there's a lot of random pipes and shit that don't lead anywhere, but are easy to hide in if you're the size of a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
I drag it out of those areas into the central area that I converted to my workspace. So, 3D printers and CNC machines, not as easy to hide in, especially if you're a big fucking mouse with a pink ribbon. But that's my current goal.
All right, that is fairly easily done. And as you wrestle with this mouse of an extraordinarily large size, bend the conversation in the very real extremes to which Evelyn is willing to attend. What is your response when Mamela moves away from the table and Joshua joins you?
There is a definite look of confusion on my face because I heard what got said and I hadn't looked at my phone again since I texted Mason originally about hoping it was worth it. So I assumed he would have left by then. So I don't, particularly know why everybody's kind of up in arms. As I look up and see the doctor come in. Oh, okay, so yeah, I guess we need to make a choice. Looks like the doctor here is making his choice, and he keeps saying I'm a legend. Legends are built on half-truths. I'm not all as great as everybody tries to make it sound out. I'm just trying to help people. People come to me when they need help.
Well, the city's been needing help for a very long time. I can't do it on an individual basis any longer. We need to drive these tower bastards completely out. Modius leaving the best thing possible. It shook up the status quo, and Juggler, for all of his fuckery, could have been a decent leader, especially with free thinkers like myself and you and everybody else having an equal voice. But then Sharp moved in with this vanguard, and they have every intention of making sure that we knuckle under, that we bend our knee, kiss the ring, and are at their disposal. The Camarilla, for all of its promises of safety, are only provide safety to those who give away their freedom, those who toe the line that they draw around you, no matter how small. Be thankful that you have this much. Be thankful that you have the safety to do so. Those days are over. We're not giving into the same systems.
I know. Yeah, I'm making a choice. I'm here. Not there. I'm here. What do you need
I'm
me
here
to do?
too.
We need to find where they all are. So far, Silk is the only one we'll find because she took over Salacious.
I know where the guy that took Mamela, the house. I flew to it because I was tracking Mamela. Do you have a map?
A what?
A map. I can point.
Didn't you just geotag it on your phone?
I was in other shape when I saw it.
Okay, Angela. Let me go find something. I think there might be a rope somewhere.
Oh my god, Josh. So, I guess we're doing this.
I have scars from my last run around the tower now. It's pretty bad first impression. If I hurt them, I'd very much enjoy that.
Yeah. It's weird because I don't know whether my sire would be proud of me right now or what, but I guess that doesn't really matter, does it?
Almost Drangel just fuck off and chill in a cave somewhere once it's old enough. I don't know much about Drangel.
We actually like comfort of some sort. We're not all dirty heathens. Though there are quite a few of those. But no.
I've heard some pretty terrifying stories about Elder Drangel.
He's a bit of a wild one, but he likes his comforts. He really does. Maybe I should reach out to him. But that's neither here nor there. That's something for later. For now, I think this is good. We need to make sure their stay here is short.
And as you all come to that realization and make that agreement with yourselves, as Evelyn has excused herself from the table and is looking for a road atlas to bring up a map for you, Silk sits down Mason's phone. Now, Mason, is there anything else you'd like to share with me?
Honestly, I have nothing else to share.
That is a shame. I thought surely you'd enjoy the third picture.
The third picture? What do you mean?
In my camera roll.
I guess.
Oh, maybe the lighting's not that great in it. Go to the fourth one. Mamela, what Mason's sending that last message, by the way?
Once I send that last message, I'm going to assume that he's smart enough to understand through the lines of emergency, get out. So I'm going to go to the table and sit down with everybody. And hopefully Mason's smart enough to read between the lines. So what are we talking about?
Well, he did respond, busy, why leave? So you're going to ignore that? So you're going to ignore text.
Oh, I didn't see that text come in at.
Nobody texted for. Oh, I was like, wait a second. Oh, wait, right. He fumbled with my phone. Do I see these? Are these pictures in any of the chats?
No.
Oh wait, never mind. I'm dumb. For some reason, my brain just shut off. Can you describe the picture?
The picture is of your car outside of a not completely affluent home. There's a timestamp.
What home?
Oh, you know what home.
I do know. I do not know.
You do know what home. The fourth picture is a little more troubling. It's a daylight picture of roughly a few hours ago.
What?
Yeah.
Am I not a vampire?
No, you definitely are a vampire, but the picture is of your tutee, the student that you're tutoring in writing.
Oh. Okay, Mason's eyes go wide, and I immediately start No. I just try and keep my composure. Ooh, not good at all.
So, I'm sure the lighting is a little bit better in that fourth picture, correct?
You sure that's my vehicle?
Oh, that most assuredly is your vehicle. And that most assuredly is your associate, the doctor's office. If you move further into the camera roll.
Wait, am I being confused right now?
You're looking at her phone, and in her camera roll, you've seen those pictures, the pictures as described. Now, she set your phone down because Mamela's, she set your phone down, and holds out her hand for her phone.
Okay, so the fourth picture is of Clara, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do not like that.
No, you do not. Mr. McGinnis, we are struggling to assume complete control without becoming dictators. It'd be far easier for us to do what we need to ensure the safety of all and potentially rebuild Gary if we do become dictators. That has never been our way.
Dictator. Dictators are elected, right?
You can say as much.
Silk.
You can say as much. And things have clearly escalated beyond our ability to remain as least violent as possible, especially in my regard. Threatening me is one thing, threatening my ideology is another, but seeking to impede the potential for me to provide.
I have not threatened you at all.
Your friends were aware of the attack, and while through some mysterious means they were able to not answer and properly address this situation when contacting and communicating with you, it is clear from these texts, your attempt to share cars, that you all are closer than...
Okay, the Shelby is in good condition, yes, because I like having good condition cars. The car was a gift from my sire in the 60s. That's the reason I don't drive it often. That's the reason he asked me, and I have no reason to say no.
I completely understand.
And again, that's just me sharing a car, and whatnot. That's not me threatening the Camarilla, the tower, or you.
I was hoping that it wouldn't be you specifically, but, and here's the but, my friend. As a member of the clan of Roses, reading between the lines is something that are taught from the moment that we are whelped into this world. And the message pertaining to you leaving as quickly as possible, especially with the emphasis, lets me know that they were involved or aware or both. And also because of which clan we are, the blood that runs through our dead veins, where that comes from. I am also aware that you have an inclination to lead through social power. I mean, you would have gathered as much information as would be usable from your associates. You would make them part of your cult of personality. You'd suck the information from the very pores. You know which way they are leaning. You know which sects they are party to. And as much as I hate the idea of it, Mason, I understand that you associates have made your choice. Having made your choice, you don't have to make any recompense for the hospitality you do.
So,
you do.
Let me just get this straight. You claim me an associate to an act of terrorism. So then you threaten one of the few kind I respect, and now you are you're having the audacity to say that I have more information than I'm letting on.
Of course, we all do. And judging by these messages and reading between the lines, just by simple proximity, you do. And that's fine. But as I was saying, you can carry this message back to each and every one of your associates. We are done playing games. They will either toe the line or they will be driven from the city. That's the price for the hospitality that you've received. That's the price for the kindness you've received. That's the price for you to walk out of here without being staked, dropped for your friends.
Okay, so at this point, Mason stands up and grabs his phone and says, "Silk, I am not your enemy. And you don't want me as your enemy. As you can see, even in the text messages that you just read, I thought we were in good, that we were friends. I put you know the thing, the two fingers, quote unquote, friends. But I am now tired and it's getting later into the night. Can I now leave?"
Of course. Thank you for...
Oh, wait, do I have my
Your time.
wallet in my jacket now?
Mm-hmm.
I take, like, how much money would I have in my wallet?
How much cash would you carry?
I don't know, probably around, this seems stupid, but probably around 10 grand.
Okay.
That's
So,
pocket cash for me anyways. So I set down 4 grand, because I say this should be enough for one of them ladies, and I'll get back to you the rest of the month.
I'll ensure that they receive the tip that you will not be paying. Thank you for your time, Mason. I thought that we, as kin, have shared a more positive. I hope your night is as happy as you deserved.
And before Mason fully leaves the room, he goes, "And if you hurt any of my friends, you'll regret it." And I leave.
And as Mason storms out towards his car, and Marcus,
Look under the car just in case, because fuck the camera.
and Marcus wrestles with a clear pet of huge size, and Ben, Joshua, Mamela entertain Evelyn, with Mamela still needing to make that vocal agreement one way or the other. We draw to a close this evening's episode, and over the next few moments of the day or the week that comes, we will wrap a few things up via post, and we'll set up the singular one-shots. But until then, I look forward to seeing you all here at our next episode, and have a nice evening.
Ooh, this was fun. Silk got Mason heated tonight.